If you have not finished Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, please stop watching because this is filled with spoilers. Life is Strange 2 starts off really strong and has a lot of themes and ideas thrown at us pretty quickly. I think one of the more obvious ones is Lord of the Rings, more specifically Sam and Frodo. At the beginning of the game, Sean points out a Lord of the Rings box set.
Every Christmas Dad wants to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy with us. That's cool.
Then later, Daniel says that Sean is Sam.
Hey, you watched Lord of the Rings with Dad like 100 times. Here's a chance to go on a real adventure. With me.
So I'm like Frodo? And you're Sam?
Well, I was thinking more like Aragorn. You know, brave, strong, good-looking.
No way, Jose. You're Sam. Sam. And we have to find a secret cave so we can hide from the orcs.
Okay.
Which I think is a great allegory for what is happening in Life is Strange 2. Daniel is an innocent, small person who has been burdened with a great responsibility, his powers. So he is Frodo carrying the One Ring, while Sean must protect and nurture Daniel on his journey, much like Sam does for Frodo. I believe that Season 2 of Life is Strange will be about Sean guiding and mentoring Daniel into a person who can use his powers for good or for selfish reasons. There are many points in the game where he can either be selfish and mean or supportive and nurturing. One part that really sticks out to me is being patient with Daniel and teaching him how to skip river stones. It takes many attempts and you have to keep encouraging him, but you eventually get it. This is so important in raising Daniel's self-esteem and teaching him that persistence gets him results, along with teaching him rather than pushing him into a spiderweb and letting him learn how to make a campfire.
You have a big mouth like me, so come on. Blow.
Yes!
Dude, don't blow it out.
Sorry. I wanted to do it like a movie.
Oh, nice. It's warming up.
I feel like these choices are going to matter down the line when Daniel starts to get more in control of his powers. That Daniel will use these lessons of independence and kindness, and it will reflect on his own self-confidence and his empathy for others. How you treat Daniel can be the difference between feeling like he can and cannot, which is a big deal when raising a kid.
Okay. Trust me. You can do it.
From episode 1, there doesn't really seem to be a big bad, and I sort of agree with that sentiment. There are so many serious issues going on that it would feel a bit cheesy to have a big bad. But on the other hand, there are a few things creeping in the back of my mind, like the phone call in Captain Spirit with the preacher talking about his weird cult-sounding church, and the comic showing Hot Dog Man and Mustard facing a giant evil mustard. It makes me feel like once we get into Chris's town, there might be a change in the story a bit. And yes, I know, the wolves. The little wolf icons are a clear indication that the wolves are Life is Strange 2's animal mascots. Wolves are often social animals that work together and form close bonds. Plus we get a puppy to join the pack as well. Puerto Lobos, aka Wolftown, is an actual real place in Mexico, not made up like Life is Strange other locations. So the wolf pack is heading to Wolftown. Wolves! P.S. Sean is a furry. He drew furry boobs, and he made a racism allegory via animal terms. Only furries do that. On a more serious note, one of the main themes of Life is Strange 2 is about racism. We can't ignore it. Now, the game is barely out, and I already see many people invalidating the Mexican-American experiences of Sean and Daniel as unrealistic. And I have to say, no one ever thought Mr. Jefferson was unrealistically evil. He kidnaps girls and takes his pictures because he enjoys having power over them. Is it truly that unrealistic that some guy who was racist was waiting for the day to be able to hurt defenseless Mexican kids with justifiable reasons? Sometimes, living in the United States, there are people who are just waiting for people of color to fuck up in the smallest of ways, because it lets them live out the fantasy of them being right and the person of color being a bad person who deserves the bad things that happen to them. It fulfills the narrative they tell themselves all the time, lets them act out the anger they have. When you see people getting shot in their own home and then the police talking about how they had marijuana so it's cool that the person died, that's not for everyone to go, oh, okay, guess they died for a reason. It's so people who are already racist to confirm that nothing wrong happened. They just need a reason, any reason, to confirm their own narrative. And I'm not saying everybody is racist. I'm saying some people are just racist. And I know that makes everyone uncomfortable to have to think about all the horrible things that are happening. But just because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't make it not true. It makes me uncomfortable too, but I have to push past that. And just because you never saw it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. If you're generally not a racist and you get along super well with other people, then yeah, you probably don't think it's an issue. But the problem is that just because you're not a racist doesn't mean other people are not. And because you're not a target, you don't see it. If someone is racist against black people and you're not black, of course you're not going to see it. If someone is sexist against men or women and you're not the gender they hate, of course you're not going to see that side of them. People are dynamic and have good qualities, but it doesn't erase the bad things they do. I see lots of people say, racist people aren't completely evil, why do you paint them that way? But that's the problem. It's hard to point out when somebody is racist when that's only one part of their personality. That's how people get away with being racist. People attack homeless people all the time. There are some people who actively seek out homeless kids as victims for whatever sick shit they want to do, be it for racist reasons or otherwise, because they know the homeless person has nowhere to go. Is it really that unrealistic that a guy who was already racist was excited to finally have a person to take his rage out on? Someone he knew he would get away with doing whatever he wanted? I don't know about you, but people do say these things. Say the police won't do anything to stop them.
You're going to jail for this.
Pretty sure the local police will vouch for me over a thug like you.
And then their victims believe them. Because why would they not? I know I'm going to get a lot of harassment and hate for just talking about this stuff, and that some people think politics don't belong in games. But honestly, sometimes it's just a perspective that we don't like. To some people, this is political. To other people, it's just their life, and they don't have the choice to ignore it. I'm sure people are going to disagree, and that's totally okay. I'm just asking to be a little more open to the idea that these issues are real. And I know many think I say these things to get views and subscribers, but the truth is, every time I talk about serious issues that matter to me, I lose a lot of subscribers and viewers. I don't do it to gain anything. I do it knowing I'm going to lose a lot because I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm going to have to throw a little shade at IGN for making the exact same assumption that the racist, over-the-top character did by saying Sean and Daniel were foreign-born.
Maybe I should call ICE to make sure you're a citizen.
Fuck you, hillbilly. I'm American.
Sean and Daniel were born in the US and are US citizens. If your automatic assumption is that they are foreign-born, then maybe you don't fully understand the dynamic of what was happening. If you have the same assumption as the evil man, maybe you don't get it. I'm not trying to attack you or make you feel like a bad person to whoever wrote that review. I mean, I know your name, I just don't want to say it in the video so people don't seek you out. I'm trying to point out that there is a possible flaw in how you see Mexican Americans, and maybe that affected how you saw that situation. That kind of talk and behavior only sounds ridiculous when you don't actually interact with people like that, or if you're not the target for their hate. There are so many perspectives in the world, and many people find that situation completely believable. It's a situation that they fear. It's a situation that happens. I know that when I watched Sense8, I thought the part where they denied the guy with the gunshot wound at the hospital was ridiculous. That's so unrealistic, I thought to myself, until my friend pointed out that actually, yes, hospitals do turn away gunshot wound victims. It actually happens. But because I had never experienced that, and I didn't know that, I thought it was ridiculous. But it was just ridiculous that it actually happens. So we can all have flaws in how we see things. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of opening our perspectives to understand that things that seem ridiculous actually are true, and we only think they're ridiculous because it's so unfair.